So the Zelda just came out and it is amazing. The Breath of the Wild, wow, it is freaking incredible. I'm looking at the metagame, I'm seeing all of the new items, the new weapons. It's so much amazing stuff in this game that I would say this is probably going to be the best Zelda game of all time. It has the potential to be at this point. And you say, why is it so revolutionary? Why is it so awesome? Well, because really, to the core fan base, it pays homage to all the previous Zeldas. I mean, A Link to the Past. I see a lot of elements from Wind Waker. I see a lot of elements from even Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword. So it's almost like those four in specific, because those were kind of the iconic four games of the Zelda universe. Ocarina of Time too, but not so many elements from Ocarina of Time, and I'm gonna get into that. But basically, from this game, I've noticed that there's a lot of trends with the original Zelda games, such as A Link to the Past and Wind Waker. And I mean, you can obviously see from things like the Deku Leaf turning into the Paraglide, or the different types of fruits and animals that are in the universe. I mean, it's just so many references that is it. If you were watching the live Treehouse event, you probably seen like 20 things, and you were like, "That is just like that game." Yeah, that's what they want you to do. So for the OGs, we're like, "Wow, this is a lot like the games that we grew up on," and that's kind of where the Nintendo's always been, where the nostalgia is meeting the meta of the game. You know what I mean? The main reason they're gonna make you want to buy this game, want to play this game, is because it's gonna be like it's literally a link to your past. Like that. I don't think that was just a play on words or a coincidence. No, A Link to the Past is literally a link to my past. So they're like, we're gonna put a lot of elements from that game and Wind Waker and a little bit from Ocarina of Time, but mainly the two newer games, and we're gonna put that all into one game, and we're gonna add an expansive new world and a cool new infrastructure and a lot of new weapons, and we're gonna make this thing the most amazing game that's ever come out. Yeah, we took 3 years to make it, and we're probably not gonna make another one for 3 more years. So this game has to be everything for everybody, and that's why they put it all together like that. Now, one of the weird things that I've actually noticed is the crafting, right? You can see with the cooking how different combinations obviously give you different things. The spicy foods, you can see how it gives you the cold resistance, or the animals that are quick typically give you stamina or more energy, or maybe quickness temporarily, things like that. And I've noticed that with the weapon system, they really didn't want to heave too much into that, because obviously you don't want to spoil the game. But my speculation on this, and just based on the things that I've seen and the trends that they've been going with, I can almost suspect that there's going to be two types of systems that play out in this game. One is the crafting, and you can see this in things like when they went to the top of the Mount Hylia, and you can see how they killed that like really ancient enemy, and he dropped something, and it was called the Ancestral Screw, and the other one dropped like an Ancestral Spring. And you might say, oh, why is this significant? Well, if you Zelda Wiki it, you notice that it says that it is a tool used for crafting. That might be the day giveaway right there. And it also says that this tool does not break. So that tells us two things. One, that there's definitely things you can craft, maybe like boats and things like that to cross, big rivers, big lakes, faster than Link can swim. And maybe you can't cross these chasms because they're way too big to cross. So you may be able to make things like boats, which is really cool. I mean, that might be the first in Zelda universe where you can create your own boat. You know what I mean? Make your own specs and things like that. I would totally think that that's on board, as well as crafting other items such as swords and shields. And the part that it said it can't break allows me to believe that there also is going to be weapons and items in the game that you can't break, such as shields that you can't break and swords that you can't break. So they talked about a lot of the shops being inclusive in the main story, and how they may play a role in that whole meta game. So my thought is, with these shops, let's say like you go into a store and you see they have a lot of things for like 200 rupees, 100 rupees, 50 rupees, whatever. But I think there'll be specialty shops that only sell like kind of like in Twilight Princess, see, paying homage to the past, where they sell like certain gear that you can buy, like maybe an outfit or that increase your stats, or maybe a sword that won't break, but it will have like low stats or something like that, or shields that don't break that have really great stats. And then because of the crafting element, you'll actually be able to do both, so you can buy things and craft things. And I think the best, like at the very end of the game, the best items possible will be combinations of both of them. So you'll have to buy like the best possible shield and then infuse it with some really, really rare mineral, like maybe diamond you can only find in one mountain in the whole game, and it's like really hard to get to. And then that'll be, you combine that diamond with that really, really rare, expensive shield, and you go to a craftsmanship and you put that together, and that will cost you more money to even put that down. And then you can get like the ultimate shield. Like that shield would be basically better than the Hyrulean shield. It'll be like the Hyrulean shield and the mirror shield put together. Like boom, you put that thing up, nothing can go through it, and it's unbreakable. And I would think the same concept about the shield, the sword, because think about A Link to the Past. You have 4 different tiers of sword. Most people, if you were like a newbie at the game, you didn't notice that there was even 4 swords. You thought it was 3 swords, because their third sword is the Master Sword. So there is a 4th sword in the game, and you get this by taking your Master Sword to the masonry guy, and he'll basically hold it for a night. You give him something, and he makes your Master Sword. You come back the next day, and you're all ready to go. And it's golden, so it's like a gold Master Sword. I think to pay homage to this, the new Master Sword, which is on the cover of the title, it's all rusted and it's all dusty. It's broken, and you're like, why? Why would that be the Master Sword? And most people will speculate in the wrong thing. They want you to think like this. Well, it's because of the world. It's in 100 years after or before the timeline of this, that, and the third game. Yeah, that may or may not be true. But what we do know is that Master Sword needs to be restored, such as in Wind Waker, when it was still a Master Sword, but it didn't have any power to it, which is why Wind Waker is the only game in the Zelda universe that didn't have the Master Sword on the cover. And if you go look at all of the Zelda games, notice that I mean, we're not counting like Minish Cap, but the normal Zelda franchise is the only one that didn't have the Master Sword on the cover, and it's because it really wasn't powerful throughout the game. They couldn't spoil the plot on the cover, so you had to realize that it had to be restored. Spoiler, if you didn't beat Wind Waker, it's not full power. It gains power throughout the thing. You have to get it power to it, and then you can use it to defeat Ganon. So that same Master Sword is the same one that's in the Breath of the Wild, where it's like it's rusted, it's really decrepit. And the thing is, I believe that at the very end, the most powerful sword is gonna be the Master Sword infused with something like, I don't know, platinum or something, whatever element because I like how they're using real world elements, so probably like platinum or diamond maybe, and you would have to craft those two together to get the perfect godlike sword. And then the Master Sword would have like crazy strength, like 15 damage boost, as well as it can never break because it's Master Sword. So those are my 2 speculations with crafting and the creation of different items and things like that. Because I'm liking the whole cooking element. Like, to me, I could tell I'm going to be spending hours to just make things, like just crafting items, just crafting different meals to eat, to see which ones, play out the best. With the same thing, I believe cooking-wise, because I've noticed that, like, they've already made like 1,000 things on Zelda Wiki, people that had the demo, played the demo, and you can make so many different combinations. I believe there's about 50 things or so that you're going to be able to put into things, and that's just estimate. I don't know. It could be 130 things, but I'm going to say 50 things. And then since there's 1,000 different combinations because of that, because you can put up to 5 things, there's theoretically about 2,000 different options of things that you can make. Now, I think there's going to be various degrees of said things, like such as if you put one spicy pepper with one, hearty truffle, that's going to make one thing. If you put 2 spicy truffles with 1 hearty mushroom, that's going to be basically an enhanced version of that thing. So instead of giving you 1.5 hearts, it's going to give you 2.5 hearts, and it's going to do something else or extend your amount of time. So I think certain combinations will just be, you'll start to realize trends like, well, if I put this food with that food, it does this. But where it's gonna get interesting is when you have 4 or 5 different foods you cook with, because it can basically do anything. And I think the ultimate food. I'm just look at this. I'm so psychic that I'm calling all this stuff, and then you're gonna be like, "How did he know this?" I don't work at Nintendo. I'm not affiliated with them at all, but I'm telling you what's gonna happen. The ultimate food you're gonna have is gonna be some type of spice that is very rare that you probably can only get for one part of the game, maybe 2 parts of the game, and it's gonna be like weird spice. It's gonna be like kind of like the rainbow colored chew in Twilight Princess, where it has a mystifying effect. Like it'll be like a definition like that when you pick it up. And what it's gonna do is you put that spice in with the other top tiered foods. So let's say a choo choo's meat, which is probably gonna be like 3 hearts by itself, uncooked, just by itself. So a cooked choo choo is probably gonna be like 4.5 hearts, and probably give you a special effect. Is if you cook like choo choo meat with that really rare spice, and then you combine it with something that's heat resistant, then something that gives you stamina boost, and something that gives you the other ability, like speed or stealth or something like that. So you combine all of the best spices in together in one meal with something as hearty as like choo choo meat, you'll probably get something like the perfect elixir, which would just be like, I would essentially believe it'd be something like Grandma's soup from Wind Waker, where you get all your hearts up, no matter how many hearts you have at that point, and you'll have every effect in the game at the same time. You'll have the temporary boost of all of the stats. So literally, my extra stamina, extra stealth, extra this, extra that, and then it'll just add extra shit to on top of that. So like 3, 4, 5 more temporary hearts too. Like it'd just be some crazy, insane stuff. Because think about it. To make this, you're not gonna be able to make this more than like 2 times. You know what I mean? And they should also make a respawn period on that. I think this is just like really, really nerdy metagame. I think they should make a respawn time on the spice, the rare spice, and the like choo choos. Like maybe make them like more rare. So if that is the like rarest meat, because the prime steak is already a meat that's in the game. I don't know where you would get that at, but maybe on top of mountains and shit like that, they would have prime steak, which is different than seared steak. So you know you got to realize that. And prime steak, if you cook prime steak, then you get like a super premium steak. And that does like a lot. It gives you like 4 hearts or something by itself. So maybe make it like that, where where the rarest meat has to be combined with the rarest spice, which has to be combined with all the other cool stuff in order to get the perfect effect. And make it so that the rarest spice can only be obtained one way, and you have to wait real world time in order to get it again. Like you can't, because otherwise people are just gonna figure out like, oh, I can just teleport and teleport back and then get it again. Even if you gotta climb a mountain or something, it won't be that hard. I mean, really, like let's be real. She climbed to the top of Mount Hylia or that ice mountain in like real world time about 10 minutes. So it won't. If you really were just like exploiting the game, you would just keep climbing to the top, teleporting, climbing to the top, teleport, and there's only 10 minutes per thing. You could get like 17 of these spices, and then just keep stocking them up and just putting them into spices, and then making the golden elixir, and then doing like that. And also the rarest meat should be the exact same concept. Like it should be just one of those animals who grazes around, and he's like maybe he's golden or something, so you know that he's shimmering, he's shiny, so it's like a freaking Pokemon. You know that it's the rare one, so you gotta get him. You gotta eat the meat. You gotta steal the meat, I guess you could say. And then he shouldn't be able to respawn in a couple of minutes, because I mean otherwise you would just teleport back. It should be an event almost, like something like he only comes at Tuesday at 5 p.m. You know what I mean? Where it's like, well, now I know that it's hard to get this guy. So that way you don't, because otherwise people are just gonna be stocking up and getting him, getting a lot of the meats together, getting a lot of the rare spices, and then boom, you can make the golden elixir whenever you want to. But this is my thoughts. Zelda is freaking amazing, and I know everybody's extremely excited. We got the speculation of who's the old man, why is Link look all different in this game? Is it gonna be customizable outfits and stuff like that? I'm just gonna say right now, 2017 can't come sooner, and judging on how many cool things that's already been revealed, I gave you my 2 cents. What's gonna happen? It's gonna be scary how accurate all that stuff is, But let me know your opinion in the comments below. About everything. Zelda, is she going to be in the game? Who's that voice talking to you at the beginning? Do you think Ganon is going to have multiple forms, or is it just going to be the, cascaded version of him? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And guys, remember, have an Aqua Day.